Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome to today's reading from Sri Caitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila chapter 8 verse 1 to 7. We will continue from Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamam Bande Shri Gurum Tintarinam Paramananda Madhvam Sri Chaitanyeshwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. Tomar Thani Ailana Tomar Mahima Shuniya Tumi More Stuti Karash Sannyasi Janiya. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahāprabhu continued, after hearing about your glories, I have come to your place, but you are offering me words of praise out of respect for a sannyasi, one in the renounced order of life. Purport. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains that a mundane person, being enriched by mundane opulences, must always know that the transcendental opulences of the advanced devotees are far more important than the materialistic opulences of a person like himself. A materialistic person with material opulences should not be very proud or puffed up before a transcendental devotee. If one approaches a transcendental devotee on the strength of one's material heritage, opulence, education and beauty, and does not offer respect to the advanced devotee of the Lord, the Vaishnava devotee may offer formal respects to such a materially puffed up person, but he may not deliver transcendental knowledge to him. Indeed, the devotee sees him as a non-Brahman or Shudra. Such a puffed up person cannot understand the science of Krishna. A proud person is deceived in the transcendental life, and despite having attained a human form, will again glide into hellish conditions. By his personal example, Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu explains how one should be submissive and humble before a Vaishnava, even though one may be situated on a high platform. Such is the teaching of Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu as the Acharya of the world, the supreme spiritual master and teacher. Verse 1 to 8. Kiba Vipra Kiba Nyasi Shudra Kene Naya Ye Krishna Tattveta Se Guru Haya. Whether one is Brahman, a sannyasi or a Shudra, regardless of what he is, he can become a spiritual master if he knows the science of Krishna. Purport. This verse is very important to the Krishna consciousness movement. In his Amrit Prabha Bhashya, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that one should not think that because Sri Chaitanya Mahāprabhu was born a Brahman and was situated in the topmost spiritual order as a sannyasi, it was improper for him to receive instructions from Srila Rāmānanda Rāya, who belonged to the Shudra caste. To clarify this matter, Sri Chaitanya Mahāprabhu informed Rāmānanda Rāya that knowledge of Krishna consciousness is more important than caste. In the system of Varnashram Dharma, there are various duties for the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras. Actually, the Brahman is supposed to be the spiritual master of all other Varnas or classes. But as far as Krishna consciousness is concerned, everyone is capable of becoming a spiritual master, because knowledge in Krishna consciousness is on the platform of the spiritual soul. To spread Krishna consciousness, one need only be cognizant of the science of the spirit soul. It does not matter whether one is Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Sannyasi, Grastha or whatever. If one simply understands this science, he can become a spiritual master. It is stated in the Hari Bhakti Vilas that one should not accept initiation from a person who is not in the Brahminical order if there is a fit person in the Brahminical order present. This instruction is meant for those who are overly dependent on the mundane social order and is suitable for those who want to remain in mundane life. If one understands the truth of Krishna consciousness and seriously desires to attain transcendental knowledge for the perfection of life, he can accept a spiritual master from any social status, provided the spiritual master is fully conversant with the science of Krishna. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also states that although one is situated as a Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahman, Vanprastha, Grastha or Sannyasi, if he is conversant in the science of Krishna, he can become a spiritual master as Vartama Pradarshak Guru, Diksha Guru or Shiksha Guru. The spiritual master who first gives information about spiritual life is called the Vartama Pradarshak Guru, The spiritual master who initiates according to the regulations of Shastra is called the Diksha Guru, and the spiritual master who gives instructions for elevation is called the Shiksha Guru. Factually, the qualifications of a spiritual master depend on his knowledge of the science of Krishna. It does not matter whether he is a Brahman, Kshatriya, Sannyasi or Shudra. This injunction given by Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is not at all against the injunctions of the Shastras. In the Padma Puran it is said, Na Shudra Bhagavad Bhaktas Te Api Bhagavato Tamaha Swarava Varneshu Te Shudra Ye Na Bhakta Janardane. One who is actually advanced in spiritual knowledge of Krishna is never a Shudra, even though he may have been born in a Shudra family. However, even if a Vipra or Brahman is very expert in the 6 Brahminical activities, Pathan, Yajan, Dan, Pratigraha, and is also well versed in the Vedic hymns, he cannot become a spiritual master unless he is a Vaishnav. But if one is born in the family of Chandals, yet is well versed in Krishna consciousness, he can become a Guru. These are the Shastric injunctions, and strictly following these injunctions, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, as a Grihastha named Sri Vishwambar, was initiated by a sannyasi guru named Ishwar Puri. Similarly, Sri Nityananda Prabhu was initiated by Madhavendra Puri, a sannyasi according to others. However, he was initiated by Lakshmipati Tirth Advaitacharya, although a Grihastha, was initiated by Madhavendra Puri, and Sri Rasikananda, although born in a Brahman family, was initiated by Shyamananda Prabhu, who was not born in a caste Brahman family. There are many instances in which a born Brahman took initiation from a person who was not born in a Brahman family. The Brahminical symptoms are explained in Srimad Bhagavatam 7.11.35, wherein it is stated, Yasya yal lakshanam proktam pumso varna bhivyanjakam yad anyatrapi reshyeta tat teneva vinirdishet. If a person is born in a Shudra family but has all the qualities of a spiritual master, he should be accepted not only as Brahman but as a qualified spiritual master also. This is also the instruction of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur therefore introduced the sacred thread ceremony for all Vaishnavas according to the rules and regulations. Sometimes a Vaishnav who is Bhajananandi does not take the Savitra Samskar sacred thread initiation, but this does not mean that this system should be used for preaching work. There are 2 kinds of Vaishnavas, Bhajananandi and Goshti Anandi. A Bhajananandi is not interested in preaching work, but a Goshti Anandi is interested in spreading Krishna consciousness to benefit the people and increase the number of Vaishnavas. A Vaishnava is understood to be above the position of a Brahman. As a preacher, he should be recognized as a Brahman. Otherwise, there may be a misunderstanding of his position as a Vaishnava. However, a Vaishnava Brahman is not selected on the basis of his birth, but according to his qualities. Unfortunately, those who are unintelligent do not know the difference between Brahman and Vaishnava. They are under the impression that unless one is Brahman, he cannot be a spiritual master. For this reason only, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu makes a statement in this verse, Kiba Kiba Nyasi, Shudra Kena Naya Ye Krishna Tattva Veta Se Guru Haya. If one becomes a Guru, he is automatically a Brahman. Sometimes a caste Guru says that Ye Krishna Tattva Veta Se Guru Haya means that one who is not a Brahman may become a Shiksha Guru or a Vartma Pradaraksha Guru, but not an initiator Guru. According to such caste, Guru's birth and family ties are considered foremost. However, the hereditary consideration is not acceptable to Vaishnavas. The word Guru is equally applicable to the Vartma Pradaraksh Guru, Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru. Unless we accept the principle enunciated by Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, this Krishna consciousness movement cannot spread all over the world. According to Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's intentions, Prithivete Achayate Nagaradi Grama Sarvatra Prachara Haive Mora Nam. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's cult must be preached all over the world. This does not mean that people should take to his teachings and remain Shudras or Chandals. As soon as one is trained as a pure Vaishnava, he must be accepted as a bona fide Brahman. This is the essence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions in this verse. Verse 1-9. Sannyasi baliya more na kariha vanchana, Krishna Radha tattva kahi purna karamana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, please do not try to cheat me, thinking of me as a learned sannyasi. Please satisfy my mind by just describing the truth of Radha and Krishna. Yadyapi Rāya premi Mahābhagavate Tandra mana Krishna maya nare achadite tathapi prabhura ichha parama prabala jani leha Rāyara mana aila talmala. Sri Rāmānanda was a great devotee of the Lord and a lover of God, and although his mind could not be covered by Krishna's illusory energy, and although he could understand the mind of the Lord, which was very strong and intense, Rāmānanda's mind became a little agitated. Purport: the perfect devotee always acts according to the desires of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but a materialistic man is carried away by the waves of the material energy. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said, Mayara vashe yacha bhese kacha haburubu bhai. A person under the grip of the material energy is carried away by the waves of that illusory energy. In other words, a person in the material world is a servant of Maya. However, a person in the spiritual world is a servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although Rāmānanda Rāya knew that nothing was unknown to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he nonetheless began to speak further on the subject because the Lord desired it. Rāya, verse 132, Rāya kahe ami nata tumi sutradhar ye mata nachao naiche chahi nachi bar. Sri Rāmānanda Rāya said, I am just dancing puppet, and you pull the strings. Whichever way you make me dance, I will dance. Verse 133, Mora jiva vina yantra tumi vina dhari, tomar mane ye uthe tahai uchari. My dear Lord, my tongue is just like a stringed instrument, and you are its player. Therefore, I simply vibrate whatever arises in your mind. Verse 134, Paramishwar Krishna Swayam Bhagwan Sarva Avatari Sarva Karan Pradhan. Rāmānanda Rāya then began to speak on Krishna Tattva. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he said. He is personally the original Godhead, the source of all incarnations and the cause of all causes. Verse 135, Ananta Vaikuntha Ar Ananta Avatar, Anantara Brahmanda Ihan Sabar Adhar. There are innumerable Vaikuntha planets as well as innumerable incarnations in the material world. Also, there are innumerable universes, and Krishna is the supreme resting place for all of them. Verse 136, Satchidananda Tanu Prajendra Nandana Sarveshwarya Sarvashakti Sarva Rasa Purna. The transcendental body of Sri Krishna is eternal and full of bliss and knowledge. He is the son of Nanda Maharaj. He is full of all opulences and potencies as well as all spiritual mellows. Verse 137, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidanand Vigraha Anadirantir Govinda Sarva Karan Karanam. Krishna, who is also known as Govinda, is the supreme controller. He has an eternal blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, for he is the prime cause of all causes. Purport: this verse is from Brahma Samhita 5.1. Verse 138, Vrindavane Aprakrita Naveen Madana Kam Gayatri Kam Vijay Yanra Upasana. In the spiritual realm of Vrindavan, Krishna is a spiritual ever-fresh Cupid. He is worshipped by the chanting of the Kama Gayatri mantra with the spiritual seed claim. Purpose: Vrindavan is described in the Brahma Samhita 5.56 in this way: Shriya Kanta Kanta Param Purusha Kalpa Taravo Dhruma Bhumish Chintamani Ganamayi Toyam Amritam Katha Ganam Natyam Gamanam Api Vamshi Priya Sakhi Chid Anandam Jyoti Param Api Tad Aswadyam Api Cha Sa Yatra Kshira Badhi Dhi Sravati surabhibhyascha sumahan nimeshar dhakyo va vrajati nahi yatrapi samayah bhaje shweta dvipam tam aham iha golokam iti yam vidantas te santah kshiti virala charah katipay. The spiritual realm of Vrindavan is always spiritual. The goddess of fortune and the gopis are always present there. They are Krishna's beloveds, and all of them are as spiritual as Krishna. In Vrindavan, Krishna is the supreme person and is the husband of all the gopis and the goddess of fortune. The trees in Vrindavan are wish-fulfilling trees. The land is made of the goddess of fortune, made of the touchstone, and the water is nectar. Birds are musical vibrations and all movements are dancing. The flute is the Lord's constant companion. The planet Golok Vrindavan is self-luminous like the sun and is full of spiritual bliss. The perfection of life lies in tasting that spiritual existence. Therefore, everyone should cultivate its knowledge. In Vrindavan, spiritual cows are always supplying spiritual milk. Not a single moment is wasted there. In other words, there is no past, present or future. Not a single particle of time is wasted. Within this material universe, the devotees worship that transcendental abode as Golok Vrindavan. Lord Brahma himself said, "Let me worship that spiritual land where Krishna is present." This transcendental land, Vrindavan, is not appreciated by those who are not devotees of self-realized souls, because this Vrindavan Dham is all spiritual. The pastimes of the Lord there are also spiritual. None are material. According to a prayer by Srila Manottam Das Thakur, Prarthana 1, Ara Kabe Nitai Chandera Karunaya Karibe Samsara Vasana Mora Kabe Tuchya Haibe. When will Lord Nityananda have mercy upon me so that I can realize the uselessness of material pleasure? Vishya Chadiya Kabe Shuddha Haibe Mana Kabe Hama Heraba Shri Vindavana. When will my mind will be cleansed of all material dirt, so that I will be able to feel the presence of Lord of spiritual Vrindavan? Rupa Raghunat Pade Haibe Akuti Kabe Ham Bujhaba Se Yugala Piridi. When will I be attracted to the instructions of Goswami so that I will be able to understand what is Radha and Krishna and what is Vrindavan? These verses indicate that one first has to be purified of all material desires and all attraction for fruitive activity and speculative knowledge if one wishes to understand Vrindavan. In reference to the word Aprakrita Navina Madana, Aprakrita refers to that which is very opposite of material conception. The Mayavadis consider this to be zero or impersonal, but it is not the case. Everything in the material world is dull, but in the spiritual world everything is alive. The desire for enjoyment is present both in Krishna and his parts and parcels, the living entities. In the spiritual world, such desires are also spiritual. No one should mistakenly consider such desires to be material. In the material world, if one is sexually inclined and enjoys that, he enjoys something temporary. This enjoyment vanishes after a few minutes. However, in the spiritual world, the same enjoyment may be there, but it never vanishes. It is continuously enjoyed. In the spiritual world, such pleasures appears to the enjoyer to be more and more relishable with new feature. In the material world, however, such enjoyment becomes distasteful after a few minutes only, and it is never permanent because Krishna appears very much. So he is called the new Cupid in the spiritual world. There is no material variety in such desire, however. Gayantam trayate yasmad Gayatri tvam tatah smrita. One who chants the Gayatri mantra gradually delivered from the material clutches. In other words, that which delivers one from material entanglement is called Gayatri. An explanation of the Gayatri mantra can be found in Madhya Lila chapter 26 verse 1 to 5. Kama Gayatri mantra rupa haya Krishnera Sarupa Shadha Chabisa Akshara Maya Se Akshara Chandra Haya. Okay, so we were reading about this. Kama Gayatri mantra is just like a Vedic hymn, but it is Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. There is no difference between Kama Gayatri and Krishna. Both are composed of 24 and a half transcendental dental syllables. See Madhya 21.125 to 29. The mantra depicted in letters is also Krishna, and the mantra arises just like the moon. Due to this, there is perverted reflection of desire in human society and among all living entities. Krishna is called Kamadeva, Pushpa Ban and Ananga. Kamadeva is Madan Mohana. The day to establish a relationship with Krishna. Pushpan, he who carries an arrow made of flowers, is Govinda, the personality of Godhead who accepts our devotional service, and Ananga is Gopijan Vallabh, who satisfies all the gopis and is the ultimate goal of life. This Kama Gayatri, Klim Kama Devaya Vidmahi Pushpa Banaya Dhimahi Tanno Ananga Prachodhyat, simply does not belong to this material world. When one is advanced in spiritual understanding, he can worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead with his spiritual purified senses and fulfill the desires of the Lord. Man mana bhav mad bhakto madhyaji man namaskuru mame veshyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi. May always think of me and become my devotee, worship me and offer my homage to me, thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. This is from Bhagavad-Gita, verse number 65 of the 18th chapter. In Brahma Samhita 5.27 to 28, it is stated, Atha Venu Ninadasya Trai Murti Mai Gatehe Sfuranti Pravisheshau Shashu Mukhabjani Swayam Bhuvaha Gayatrim Gayatas Tasmad Adhi Gayat Saroja Jaha Samskritash Chadi Guruna Dvijatam. Right, where were we? Seem to have lost my thread there. Then Gayatri, mother of Vedas, being manifested by the divine sound of Sri Krishna's flute, entered the lotus mouth of Brahma, the self-born, through his 8 ear holes. Thus the lotus-born Brahma received the Gayatri mantra, which had sprung from the song of Sri Krishna's flute. In this way he attained twice-born status, having been initiated by the supreme primal preceptor Godhead himself. Enlightened by the recollection of that Gayatri, which embodies the 3 Vedas, Brahma became acquainted with the expanse of the ocean of truth. Then he worshipped Sri Krishna, the essence of the Vedas, with a hymn. The vibration of Krishna's flute is the origin of the Vedic hymns. Lord Brahma, who is seated on a lotus flower, heard of the sound vibrations of Krishna's flute and was thereby initiated by the Gayatri mantra. So the next paragraph seems to be a very lengthy one as well, so I think we will continue it next time from verse 139 of chapter 8 of the Madhya Lila from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Thank you for joining. Hare Krishna.